Yeah, boy. Hey, it's 618Cs, man. Look, they say the Diddy verdict is coming in, man. The jury has reached its verdict on 4 of 5 counts. So we just tapping in, man, so we can watch it live together. You know what I'm saying? And anybody that come in, welcome to the channel. My returning viewers, you know what I'm saying? Thank you for coming back. If this your first time and you catching it later on, man, hey, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, you know what I'm saying? But we finna watch it. I'm just gonna be flicking through the YouTube channels and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Trying to see what's going on and what everybody's saying and stuff. So they say the Diddy verdict is in. So like I said, I'm gonna be flicking through the live news channels, man, to see what's going on. So let's get to it right now, man. See what they talking about, bro. They say the jury has reached a verdict. I told y'all in the last video that they wasn't gonna beat her past the 4th of July. I told y'all that, bro. I knew it. They weren't gonna be there past 4th of July, man. We weren't finna sit this out, man. They been gone. Them folk been gone too long. They had to come down to it, man. Let's get it.
On Combs' call to the stand, as opposed to let's just focus on the prosecution, since they have to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt. And the defense can always say, I don't have a burden. I don't have to call a single witness, and the judge is going to tell you that because the government brought these charges, so they better be able to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. It's not my job to do their job for them.
Well, and Rena, I believe you're still with us. Listen, you've been here the entire 6 weeks of this trial. In terms of testimony, I mean, whose testimony has really kind of been the linchpin here in this case?
Well, I think it's exactly what the jury asked to see more of today. They wanted to see the transcripts of Cassie Ventura's testimony. It was harrowing. It was graphic. It was very emotional. Many called her the prosecution's star witness. It was because of her civil lawsuit that federal prosecutors even started looking into Sean Diddy Combs in this trial. He was arrested shortly after her civil lawsuit. About a year later, last year, they raided his homes and they brought him into federal custody. And we know that this seems to have been a really difficult journey for Cassie Ventura based on what we heard from her on the stand. Specifically, the jury wanted to hear her testimony from that now infamous video from 2016, where we see Combs kicking and dragging Ventura. She testified that is when she was trying to leave a freak off at the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles. And the jury seemed to really want to see that again, as well as some testimony regarding a freak off here in New York at the Essex Hotel with a male escort named Daniel Phillip. He had testified to the jury that he saw Combs get violent with her then as well. So it seems like they were really focused on these instances that prosecutors had highlighted as alleged sex trafficking of Cassie Ventura.
Well, and Rena,
yeah,
actually,
we waiting on the verdict, man. They
in
say the verdict is coming in out of 4 out of 5 counts. That's what we waiting on. We just following the news,
women.
man. This is a live
Any
video.
more that you can tell us about
feed, man. Thank you for joining
here?
the channel. That one view, hey dog, I appreciate.
Well, we know that their
Hit that
ages
subscribe
range
button.
from about 30, 31 to 74 years old. They, of course, all live here in the New York area. One of them was actually an alternate that got pulled in when another juror was dismissed about halfway through the trial because the judge said that he was not forthcoming about where exactly he lived. We know that they're educated. They're college educated. They had advanced degrees. They come from really all walks of life. They get their news from all different sources. Some of them say that they had heard about the allegations against Combs. Some of them said that they really didn't know much, but they all vowed to really be a blank slate here. And that was the reason why they were chosen to be on the jury, because they said that they would be able to be impartial and weigh only the evidence in this case rather than anything that they've heard in the media or elsewhere.
Well, and Bernarda, in your experience, I know you've been in this moment before as a client of yours is awaiting their fate, a decision that one way or another is going to change the course of their life. We're getting these notes from inside the courtroom here, and says that at one point it appeared that Diddy was wiping his eyes and that he rested his chin in his hand. His defense attorneys, at least two of them, stood with their arms around one another. What is that moment like?
Well, that moment is very nerve-wracking. I will tell you that I was a prosecutor for 16 years, so I did it on the opposite side for 16 years, waiting on that verdict. And also, I've been a defense attorney and currently am a defense attorney. Now, when it comes to a trial, I am not nervous at any point during the trial, with the exception when you get that note that there is a verdict, because you lose all control at that point. So in terms of the defendant, Sean Combs, right now, you got to think that his fate, his future lies in the hands of these 12 jurors. And now they know at least the answer as to 4 of those charges, how it will affect Sean Combs. So it is very nerve-wracking, especially I've been sitting in that courtroom throughout this entire trial, with the exception maybe of a day or two. And the way that the attorneys and surround Sean Combs and support him. So for me to hear how they're huddled around him, they're holding him, he's wiping tears from his face, and his family inside of that courtroom also trying to figure out what is the fate of this human being, because they know of the large exposure that they have. Right now, all they can do is try to comfort him and to tell him that regardless of what happens, that they will move forward with future legal action, being, if it is a conviction, that they will move with the appellate process, so to still stay strong.
I appreciate that, Bernarda. And we just got a new note. The district judge said that he plans to read back a portion of the jury instructions to encourage further deliberations. And part of that instruction, it includes this paragraph that says it is your duty as jurors to consult with one another and to deliberate with the view of reaching an agreement. Each of you must decide the case for himself or herself, but you should do so only after a consideration of the case with your fellow jurors. That's a partial statement there. Again, the judge going on to say, your verdict must be unanimous, but you are not bound to surrender your honest convictions concerning the effect or weight of the evidence for the mere purpose of returning a verdict or solely because the opinion of another juror. For more on this, I want to bring in Kelly Carter, who is a senior entertainment reporter for ESPN's Anscape. And Kelly, when we talk about the legacy of Diddy, it's hard to think about the 90s in hip hop without mentioning his name. But this is a trial that has now really impacted that legacy.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think so many of us have been playing this, and when I say us, I really mean the entertainment industry has been playing this wait and see game. And I think that regardless, and this is the truth of the matter, is that regardless of whether there's a conviction or there's acquittal, this trial changes how we talk about Sean Combs' legacy moving forward. It'll be virtually impossible to talk about, all the contributions that he's had without also talking about how the summer of 2025 had all of us, learning new things about him and perhaps looking at him and casting him in a different light because of these allegations. And of course, he has denied all of the allegations, but I think there are still, some details that will be really difficult for people to unhear. And in the case of that video at the Intercontinental, unsee. And I think that really changes how we talk about Sean Combs and his legacy.
Certainly, but it is actually. I mean, I think aside from his personal hits and seeing him on episodes of Ellen or on red carpets, he's someone who has had his hands deeply on the pulse of music for the last several decades.
Absolutely. The fact of the matter is that Sean Combs is a cultural icon. He really kind of defined in a lot of ways what Black excellence is. He really was able to walk people into rooms, walk a generation, the hip hop generation, into rooms that we never thought we would see the hip hop generation be able to walk into. We all of a sudden were invited to sit, Fashion Row front week, or Fashion Row week front row, partying with Anna Wintour, going to the Met Gala, walking into Forbes 500, Fortune 500 companies and getting deals that we didn't imagine people in hip hop would ever be able to get. And a lot of that happened because of Sean Combs and his influence. So, I mean, to dismiss the fact that he is a cultural icon and a beacon for this community and has done so much for this community is impossible.
All right,
but
that
you
was
now
breaking
have to
news,
look at
right?
it,
Jury
right
has
next
reached a
to
verdict
kind of
on
what we all have
4
experienced
of
and been covering
5
this
charges
summer with
against
regards
Diddy,
to this trial.
right? So the
All right,
judge,
Kelly, Rena,
they say
and
right here on the
Bernarda, much
headline, so
thanks
the
to you
judge
all.
instruct
We're going to
jurors
take a quick
to keep
break and
deliberating
much more
after the
coverage on the other
jury,
side.
as you know what I'm saying, keep deliberating after they came to these, because they still got to come with that fifth one.
I'd never
So
seen
it
that
won't
many
be
scalps
over
in a man's
until
thousands.
they come
This
with
killer, he's the
that
dog.
fifth deliberation. They got to come with the deliberation on that fifth charge, and then it'll be over. But I told people the other day, this gonna be over before the weekend. They not gonna stay there locked up in a hotel away from their family over the 4th of July weekend, and it's a 4-day weekend, and the 4th of July on the weekend. So it's gonna be lit as hell in every city, every suburb, every backyard. You know what I'm saying? So them folk trying to go home. They trying to get home to their people, bro. But I wouldn't doubt. I said it in the last video. It's gonna be over tomorrow. They gonna come. They gonna come with their decision tomorrow for sure. They already been sent home for the day, or sent back to their hotel room, or back to wherever they put up at. They already been sent back. They were sent back at 5 p.m. Eastern. So that's why all this news is breaking. It's over for the day. So we ain't gonna get no more breaking news today besides this. But they have come to a verdict on 4 of the 5 charges. So we gotta stay tuned, and we gotta keep following this trial, man. Look, I'm 61ACs, and I appreciate y'all, everybody that's rocking with me, man. And you know my saying, if don't nobody love you, 61ACs love you, dog. I appreciate y'all for watching the video and rocking with me, man. I'm out, man. I appreciate y'all.